All right, g'day, Spuddies. It's been a big day in science in Australia, so let's talk about it. Food psychology science, to be specific. So, at a presentation today, this has made headlines around Australia, by the way. This has been a big story here. I don't know if it's gone global, but it's in Australia. So, a study done at the University of Sydney. There was a presentation made today at the Australasian Neuroscience Society annual scientific meeting. What a mouthful! But in that presentation, basically, it was claimed that this new study that's it's not actually been published yet, but some findings are starting to come from it. It'll be interesting to actually read the full study. It doesn't seem to be available at the moment, but yeah, when it comes out, it'll be interesting to have a read. But anyway, the claims made at this presentation were that junk food reprograms the brain and perpetuates bad dietary choices. A high-fat, high-sugar diet acts to decrease self-control in relation to food, can impact on memory, and is also found to increase the likelihood of anxiety. Now, those are all things that were definitely a part of my life, especially I was diagnosed with clinical anxiety as well as depression before I started my Spud Fit Challenge. So yeah, I can relate to those things, as well as obviously, yeah, decrease in self-control in relation to food. I felt totally powerless, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that. That we seem unable to actually make a good choice. It just is close enough to impossible. So yeah, that was really interesting for me to read. Doors just come open. There we go. Hang on, I've got to close this door. All right, there's a bit of noise going on out there. Teddy's getting some bedtime stories at the moment from Mum. So, all right, so I'll go on and I'll read a couple more quotes, a little bit more from Dr. Ian Johnson, who was the guy that did this presentation. So he says, however, it is important to know that correcting these unhealthy behaviours and implementing a healthy diet and exercise regime can reverse many of these issues. People think about obesity as being a moral problem, that people are fat because they have poor self-control. What my data has shown is that obesity seems to come after people are exposed to bad food. It's reprogramming the brain into the choices you make about how you eat. So there's a lot more to it than just this. They're doing a big study, but yeah, basically the way that I've described it in the past and the way I continue to describe it after reading this is that junk food changes the way our hormone production happens in our brain. All right, the feel-good hormones are triggered by junk food, and they alter the decision-making pathways that are in our brain, so that it makes it much harder to make a good choice, because yeah, we get stuck on this loop, this permanent, well, not permanent, obviously it can be broken, but this seemingly permanent loop that just keeps going around and around in our brains, just continually reinforcing bad behaviours. So yeah, it's really interesting to me that this science is coming out now that is backing up what I've been saying all along about, from the very beginning, the Spud Fit Challenge was about retraining my brain. I understood that I had this problem with my relationship with food. The way I thought about and behaved with food was all messed up, and things just weren't working properly in my head. So I needed to take drastic action to abstain from all of the foods that were bad for my brain and bad for my body, and really take some time away from food as much as I could to be able to then focus on changing the way I thought about and behaved to food. And it turns out that taking time away from the food itself also played a part in my psychology around food. It wasn't just taking the time to work on my thoughts and behaviours. It was actually just removing the food itself also played a part in changing the way my brain functioned. So that's really interesting. So yeah, I'm really happy with this today, that it's Of course, I want to wait until the study's fully done so I can read the whole thing, but these reports that are coming from it before it's being published are, yeah, they're really, it makes me happy that I feel like I'm on the right track with this Spud Fit Challenge idea, and I know that it worked for me, and I've seen it work for so many other people now too, and you know, we're getting some scientific reasoning coming out about why and how it works so well. So yeah, cool. Spud up, everyone. And sales pitch time. If this is something that you know you can relate to, you think you might need some retraining of your brain of your own, then maybe you'd like to come away with me for a week on the Spud Fit retreat. A week of eating only potatoes, a week to retrain, reprogram your brain. Yeah, what better way to do it? And I wonder if Dr. Ian Johnston would agree. I'm going to see if I can contact him and see if he would like to sit down with me. Maybe we can get to the bottom of it. But anyway, link below. If you're interested in the Spud Fit retreat or doing your own Spud Fit challenge, just go to spudfit.com and check it out. Thanks for watching, everyone, and spud up and retrain your brain.